Question 36. The diagram at the right shows three possible ways to represent inequality statements. So we can do it in words like B right here, where we just write out in words. We can graph it like C, where we decide to shade right, shade left, or we can use our symbols, which is our less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. Review the meaning of the inequality symbols, greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, with your team, and generate the two missing representations for each inequality described in parts A through C. All right, so in A, they give us the symbols. That means we have to graph this and write it in words. So let's slide over to this. So here is A. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to graph it. So when we're graphing inequality, first thing we're going to do is we're going to do a number line, put 0, then I'm going to give myself some numbers. All right, and we've got this, and this is going to be my -1, -2, -3, -4. This will be a 1, this will be 2, 3, and 4. All right, so reminder from yesterday, when I graph this, I go to my boundary, which is this number part right here, and I'm going to put a dot at -1.5. So here's -1, -1.5 would be in the center. So I'm going to put my boundary point right there. That's my -1.5. Now I need to make a decision. Do I shade right or do I shade left? So if I pick a number over here to the right, like 2, if I put a 2 in here, is this correct? If I put a 2, is this true? It's not. So I don't want to shade right. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to shade left. So let's do this. Let's put a number over here somewhere. Fill these in. That's a -3. That's a -4. So let's put in a -3. If I do this, -3 is less than -1/2 because the numbers to the right on a number line are always larger. Here's my -1.5. Here's my -3. The numbers to the right are always larger. So this is true. So when I graph this, that tells me I'm going to shade left and put an arrow on this. So that tells me that every single number to the left of -1/2 makes this a true statement because there's an infinite number of possibilities. So we did the symbols, we did the graph, and now I got to write this out in words. And when I write this out in words, I'm going to start it but not finish it because my writing is so sloppy on here, but you need to do it on your paper. We're going to write down X is, and this is a less than symbol, is less than -1.5. All right, so you need to write this whole thing out, but X is less than -1.5. I guess I could finish writing that out. I'm almost got it. Less than -1.5. So we've got our symbols, we've got our graph, and symbols, graph, and then we have our words. Now part B, they gave us the words. We now need to do the symbols. So just as a reminder, if you don't know this, I would write this down somewhere on your paper. This is a less than symbol. This is a greater than symbol. And that says greater than, just trust me. And a lot of times it's confusing. I don't want you to kind of memorize what they're called, but if you just kind of do something like this, you know, put a 2 and a 3, we know it has to open up this way, then I know that I read this 2 is less than 3, so it makes this a less than symbol. If I put the bigger number over here, we know the mouth opens up to the biggest number, and I would read this as 4 is greater than 1. All right, so if you forget what they are, write yourself a little example so we know which is which. All right, so here's my words, X. So when I write this symbol, X is greater than, here's my greater than symbol, or equal to, all right, new for us, put the line underneath. So this is greater than or equal to 2. So this is my symbol. X is greater than or equal to 2. Now when I graph this, same thing. We put on our number line. I'm going to put a 0, a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. Just putting some on here. 1, 2, 3. I'll let you do the rest. -1, -2, -3, -4. So make sure you get this filled in. So now we go to our boundary point, which is a 2. Now, this is different because I had this or equal to. When I go to 2, I'm going to do the circle, but I need to color it in this time. And the reason I'm going to color it in is because 2 is part of this solution. Now I need to make a decision. Do I shade right or do I shade left? So if I pick a number over here to the left, like let's say -2, if I put a -2 in here, is -2 greater than 2? It's not. So it's not the numbers to the left. It's going to be these numbers over here to the right. Fix this back up. Put my X back in. If I pick a number somewhere over here to the right, like 10 is way over here. If I put 10, is 10 greater than or equal to 2? It is. So I know on this question, this is going to be a shade right. So I shade to the right, put an arrow because it includes all the numbers to the right. Now remember, because I colored this in, 2 is one of the solutions to this. It's 2 and all the numbers to the right. Up here, it's not colored in. So it did not include 1.5. It only includes the numbers to the left of 1.5. So big key, open circle, close circle. All right, part C. Let's do our, so we have a graph. Let's do our symbols. So I'm going to have X. Now, it goes to the left, so I need to make a decision right now, okay? Is it going to be X is greater than or equal to, because it's colored in, 2, or do I want this? X is less than or equal to 2. I got to decide which of these symbols to use. Well, if I choose these numbers that are over here and I put in a 0, if I put a 0 here, is this true? It's not, so it can't be that. So I think it's going to be this. If I choose any of these numbers over here on the left, like let's say 0 again, and I put a 0 in here, is this true? Yeah, 0 is less than or equal to 2. If I put a -4 in here, -4 is less than or equal to 2. So I know that this is the correct symbol. Okay, so we've got to kind of think our way through this of which way we're going. Notice it's colored in, so I put this or equal to part on the bottom. The last thing I need to do for C is write it out in words. So I'm going to write down X is, whoops, remember this is a less than symbol, is less than, and then don't forget there's the line, or equal to, 2. So I've got my graph, my symbols, my wording.